Poolse militairen 80 jaar geleden onze gemeente Drimmelen hebben bevrijd. Wij rijden met deze Memorialtocht over alle kernen van onze gemeente. Ze zullen bij elk monument een akkoord spreken en een bloemstuk leggen. Dan vraag je aandacht hiervoor en ze zullen een aantal ook voortzetten. En hij eindigt vandaag hier op dit adres. Ik geef het woord aan Magdalena.
Dziś pragniemy z głęboką wdzięcznością zastanowić się nad bohaterskimi działaniami polskich wyzwolicieli, którzy pod wodzą generała Stanisława Maczka wyzwolili gminę Drimmelen w listopadzie 1944 roku. Wasza odwaga, poświęcenie i wytrwałość przyniosły nam wolność w czasach ucisku i strachu. Dzięki waszym odważnym wysiłkom żyjemy dziś w pokoju. Mieszkańcy Drimmelen nigdy nie zapomną waszych odważnych działań i pozostaną wam dozgonnie wdzięczni.
In het kort komt erop neer wat Magdalena heeft gezegd. Met diepe dankbaarheid willen wij vandaag stilstaan bij de heldendaden van de Poolse bevrijders die onder leiding van Stanisław Maczek in november 1944 de gemeente Drimmelen hebben bevrijd. Jullie moed, opoffering en onverzettelijkheid brachten ons de vrijheid in een tijd van onderdrukking en angst. Dankzij jullie dappere inzet leven wij nu in vrede. De inwoners van Drimmelen zullen jullie heldhaftige daden nooit vergeten en blijven jullie eeuwig dankbaar.
November 1944. Ter Heide, Wagenberg en Maden. Bevrijd. 5 november 1944. Hoge Zwaluwe en Drimmelen. Bevrijd. 6 november 1944. Lage Zwaluwe. Bevrijd. 9 november 1944. Brabant vrijwel geheel bevrijd. 5 mei 1945. De Biesbosch en de rest van Nederland bevrijd. Beste aanwezigen, vandaag vieren we dat de dorpen van de gemeente Drimmelen 80 jaar in vrijheid leven. In november 1944 was het de eerste Poolse panzerdivisie die onder leiding van generaal Maczek in 3 dagen tijd de dorpen van onze gemeente bevrijdde. Vandaag hebben we die bevrijding gevierd en herdacht met een fantastisch en uniek eerbetoon. Aangezien er vandaag ook Poolse aanwezigen zijn en we hen en hun voorvaderen veel dank verschuldigd zijn, zal ik dit korte dankwoord in het Engels voortzetten. Today we went on a special journey together to celebrate and commemorate the liberation of our municipality 80 years ago. It was November 4th, 1944, when your compatriots crossed the river Mark to expel the occupiers. We owe you great gratitude, because ever since those days, the people of Ter Heide, Wagenberg, Maden, Hoge Zwaluwe, Drimmelen and Lage Zwaluwe have lived in freedom and peace. The stories from both our nations are completely different, and while we undoubtedly share a present, nobody knows what the future will look like. Nonetheless, there is one thing that we always have and had in common. It's our people. It's the friendship and kindness. It's humanity and mutual understanding. And it therefore is a great honor that we not only had some Polish people taking part in our memorial tour today, but we also welcome my distinguished colleague Mr. Braborski and his wife. Our communities have some shared pages in history when we were involved in an official town twinning. Despite the official town twinning between Kosmin and Drimmelen was formally ended a few years ago, the friendship still exists. And as a former president of a European town twinning network, I know that friendship is far more important than everything else. We celebrate the 80th anniversary of our liberation, and that is something you should do together with friends. So we are once again very grateful that you and your wife have come here to join in our festivities to mark the friendship between our communities. A Bridge to Freedom is the regional theme of this year's celebrations. It couldn't have been chosen more aptly for a municipality surrounded by water. Although bridges to freedom sometimes are built by using stones, iron or wood, most bridges to freedom nowadays are more symbolic. We need to build bridges between nationalities to make sure mutual understanding survives. We need to build bridges between people to make sure friendship survives. And we need to build bridges between generations to make sure the concept of freedom survives. And once we've built those bridges, we not only need to maintain them, we also need to get into a boat every now and then together, to sail under those bridges, on our way to freedom, enjoying our freedom, living in freedom. Mayor Bradborski, I gladly would like to offer you that symbolic boat as a souvenir of today, as a souvenir of our shared pages in history, as a souvenir of our friendship, but most of all, as a souvenir of our common bridge to freedom. And I would like to invite you here so I can hand over the boat we could sail in together into the future. And I would also like to invite you to say some words to the people from Hadden.
Dear Mr. Mayor Boy-Scholz, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear Dutch friend. First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for the invitation for this splendid celebration, the 80th anniversary of Liberation Brabant. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to be present during this ceremony. 8 years ago, for Brabant, Hadden and the neighborhood places, end of the Second World War has become a fact. And this land has got liberated from Nazi occupation. As a Pole, I'm proud this happened with the significant participants of Polish soldiers. Today, we gather over here in the front of the monument in Hadden to remember that, as well as pay a tribute to and gratitude to all participants of the liberation struggle, both Polish soldiers and your local resistance. Dear sirs, for you and our freedom. This is a sentence which was placed on the banners of Polish units. For you and our freedom. Knowledge of this maxim is important to understand the presence of Polish soldiers over here. For them, it was just only way to come back to Poland and make their own homeland liberated and free. This idea is beautifully reflected in the words of Polish poet, which I would like to quote. Pod każdym sztandarem, byle nie białym, szukają zwycięstwa polskie oddziały. What means Polish troops are looking for victory under any banner other than white. The 4 crosses on graves of Polish soldiers can be found in many places all around the world. Here in Brabant, in Monte Cassino, Italy, Narvik in Norway, or Tobruk in Libya. These were the Polish rose to liberation and freedom. And finally, for Poland it happened half a year later after you. But liberation for you meant a chance for stability and development. For Poland had a bitter-sweet taste, since we found ourselves in the Soviet sphere of influence. For us, it meant that Poland was liberated, but was not free and not independent. This changed only 45 years later, with the fall of the Iron Curtain, what happened again due to significant determination and efforts of Polish people. This change gave Poles a chance to feel as a member of European community. Owing to this change, communities Koźmin and Drimmelen, at that time Made and Drimmelen, had got a chance to establish the partnership which developed for more than 20 years and brought many benefits for both partners, as I believe. Personally, I very much regret that the official cooperation did not stand the test of time and faded away. Looking to the history, we may say you may easily see that the victory over Nazism and liberation of Europe from the power of evil 80 years ago was possible only many oppressed nations got united in a common fight. Currently, we observe a situation all over the world. Don't you have an impression that we face a certain kind of an evil again? In my opinion, yes. And we need to do most to be integrated and united to avoid the mistakes from the past and before evil develops on the scale difficult to control. Perhaps it's a good moment to consider renewing of our relationship between communities and start again. Dear sirs, today standing here in Made in front of the monument, a couple of places visiting before, I like to express my gratitude to all Dutch people who were engaged and involved in organization of today and yesterday event, paying tribute to Polish soldiers struggling for the liberation of your homeland. I'd like to also thank to all Dutch people who initiated and implemented construction of this monument. Certainly it was many people, but let me mention two names. Johan van Beek and the former mayor of Drimmelen, Jan Elzinga. 30 years ago, I had the honor and pleasure to participate in the monument unveiling ceremony by the Polish President Lech Wałęsa. Both then and today, it was great and unforgettable moment as a Pole and as a mayor of Koźmin. Thank you a lot for remembering. I do feel grateful and moved. Hartelijk bedankt.
zijn aan het eind van de dag gekomen van de Memorialtocht. Wij mogen iedereen bedanken, alle vrijwilligers, en degenen die zich belangeloos hebben ingezet voor deze fantastische dag, die bij iedereen waarschijnlijk in het geheugen gegrift staat. Bij mij in ieder geval wel. Nogmaals dank en een hele fijne zondag.